Hello everyone. Now we're going to be working on word problems with GCF, and this first example here asks us to find the area of the shaded region. So more specific, we want an algebraic expression. We're not looking for a numerical answer. The answer we get is not going to be a number, okay? So we're looking for the algebraic expression that represents the area of the shaded region, this blue region over here. So the information that they give us is that the entire shape is a rectangle, and its area is 16x cubed plus 32x squared minus 40x. Okay, within the rectangle we have a white trapezoid over here, and they give us that the top base of the trapezoid is 3x plus 5, and they tell us that the left side of the entire rectangle corresponds to the GCF. Okay. Very typical problem. We've seen how to find the area of the shaded region in the previous video, so it's the same game plan. We have to find the area of the total, which is already given, and then we have to subtract the area of the inner shape, in this case a trapezoid. So our goal now is to go find the area of the trapezoid. So there's a bit of work to be done, but before we go get the area of the trapezoid, let's go get the GCF. We know that the left side of the rectangle is the GCF of the area. So that should have been stated. The GCF here of the entire area of the rectangle. So let's go ahead and find the GCF. So if the entire area is 16x cubed plus 32x squared minus 40x, let's write the GCF. So what's the biggest number that divides 16, 32, and 40? So I believe it's 8. And out of the variables, we have x cubed, x squared, x. The most we could take out is x. Okay. So as I mentioned, always write what's left over. We have 16x cubed. We divided by 8x. We're left with 2x squared. 32x squared divided by 8x. We get 4x. And then negative 40 divided by 8. We get minus 5. And the x's cancel, so this is what's left over. Okay. So we found the GCF. The GCF is 8x. That means the left side of the rectangle is 8x. That's very valuable information. But this is the reason why I was telling you always to write what's left over. Because what you have to catch now is that 8x times this whole thing is equal to the area. Do you agree that the area, the formula for the area is length times width? So if 8x, let's call this the length. If 8x is the length, what's the 2x squared plus 4x minus 5 represent? They're multiplying each other. So if this side is the entire left side of the rectangle, that means whatever's left over is the width. That means the 2x squared plus 4x minus 5 actually represents the base of the trapezoid, or the base of the rectangle. This is why it's important to write whatever's left. Don't just find the GCF, write what's left, because it's valuable information. Without this information, we wouldn't be able to continue the problem. So the entire base is 2x squared plus 4x minus 5. And now we're able to continue with the problem. Okay, so this is very, 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 very important. So the next step is to go find the area of the trapezoid. So you have to have your formulas memorized. The area of a trapezoid is big base plus little base, all that times the height divided by 2. So the big base we have, that's the bottom. Start it this way. The big base is 2x squared plus 4x minus 5. Oh, sorry. Plus the little base. The little base is 3x plus 5 times the height. In this case, the height of the trapezoid corresponds to the height of the rectangle, which we got is 8x. All that divided by 2. Over here in the first bracket, we combine like terms, so we have 2x squared, 4x plus 3x is 7x, and negative 5 plus 5 cancel each other, so those are gone, times 8x divided by 2. Next, I'm going to multiply the 8x in. So 8x times 7x and 8x times 2x squared. We get 16x cubed plus 56x squared all that divided by 2. And next we divide each term by 2. So this gives us 8x cubed plus 28x squared. And this is the area of the trapezoid. So we found the area of the trapezoid, we know the area of the entire rectangle, so the last step to find the shaded region is to subtract the total by the trapezoid. So let's do that over here. Area of the shaded equals area of total, or area of the big rectangle, the whole thing, minus the white trapezoid, which I'll abbreviate as trap. That's the trapezoid. So this is equal to the area of the big, or the total, is what we started with, 16x cubed plus 32x squared minus 40x. All this, put it in brackets, minus 8x cubed plus 28x squared. I'm going to have to just erase over here to give myself some room. 28x squared. And now we think of this as a negative 1 and distribute. So this is 16x cubed plus 32x squared minus 40x minus 8x cubed minus 28x squared. And lastly, we combine like terms. So we add the x cubes, 16x cubed minus 8x cubed, we're left with 8x cubed. 32x squared minus 28x squared. And that gives us 4x squared, positive 4x squared, minus 40x. That's the last guy. And this corresponds to the area, let's put units squared. And this corresponds to the area of the shaded region. Great work, let's look at the next example. Okay, so in this next example, we have to again find the area of the shaded region, the blue region over here. Again, our answer is going to be an expression, and they give us that the area of the big rectangle, the entire shape, is 63x cubed minus 36x squared plus 45x. They also tell us that the left side represents the GCF of the area of the rectangle, and this little piece here, from the tip of the triangle to the corner of the rectangle, is 3x squared plus 4x minus 1. So we have to go ahead and find the shaded region. So let's start off by finding the GCF. So the GCF corresponds to the left side of the triangle, but what you have to also catch here is that the left side of the triangle, or the height of the, the height of the rectangle, is equivalent to the height of the triangle. Okay, that's the trick to this problem. So that's what you have to catch. This distance is the same as this distance. Okay, so once we have the GCF, we actually know the height of the triangle as well. So let's go do that. So let me continue here. So what's the GCF of 63x cubed minus 36x squared plus 45x? I think the biggest number we can take out is 9x. This is the GCF. And what are we left with? If we divide by 9x, we're left with 7x squared minus 4x plus 5. Okay. So that means the left side here and the height of the triangle is 9x. But remember, to find the area of a triangle, the formula is base times height divided by 2. We don't have the base, but we know the height, since we know the GCF. Our goal is to find the base. How are we going to find the base? So we have to use the fact that 9x, once again, represents the length. This is the length, which means that whatever it's multiplying must be the width. So how is the width going to help us find the base of the triangle? Well, if we know that this little piece here is 3x squared plus 4x minus 1, and we know that whatever is here, 7x squared minus 4x plus 5, represents the entire distance, the entire base of the rectangle. Let's write that down. 7x squared minus 4x plus 5. Is it clear how to find the base of the triangle? So what you guys should see is that once you take the total distance and subtract this little piece here, which is 3x squared plus 4x minus 1, you're left with the base of the triangle. So let's go ahead and do that. 7x squared minus 4x plus 5 minus 3x squared, make sure to put brackets, plus 4x minus 1. And again, distribute the negative 1. So we get 7x squared minus 4x plus 5 minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. Essentially the signs switch. Negative 1 times 3, negative 3, negative 1 times 4, negative 4, and negative 1 times negative 1, positive 1. Lastly, we group like terms. 7x squared minus 3x squared, we get 4x squared. Negative 4x minus 4x is negative 8x. Don't cancel them, they're the same sign. And lastly, we have the numbers 5 and 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. And this is the base of the triangle. Now that we got the base of the triangle, let's write that in. 4x squared minus 8x plus 6. We're ready to go ahead and find the area of the triangle. So let me erase to give myself some room. So let's again write the area of the triangle formula. Base times height divided by 2. We said the base was 4x squared minus 8x plus 6. All that times the height. And again, the height of the triangle corresponds to the GCF, which was 9x. Right, 9x. And then all that divided by 2. So on top, it's a multiplication, so we distribute, rainbow method. Usually we have the 9x in the front. It doesn't really matter that it's in the back. What matters is that you have a multiplication and that you have to multiply each term because we're multiplying by a monomial. So 4 times 9 is 36. X squared times x is x cubed. Negative 8 times 9 is negative 72. X squared. And 9 times 6 is 54. X. All this divided by 2. So 36 divided by 2 is 18x cubed. 72 divided by 2 is negative 36 x squared. And 54 divided by 2 is, what is it, 26? No, 27. 27x. And this corresponds to the area of the triangle. I hope I didn't make a silly mistake. And last step, we have to find the area of the shaded region. That means we have to take the area of the total shape, area of the big rectangle, and subtract out the area of the triangle that we just found. So the last step, we minus. So area of shaded, let me erase this. I don't need this information anymore. So area of the shaded is equal to area of the big rectangle minus the area of the triangle. I put a little triangle. And that gives us 63 x cubed minus 36 x squared plus 45x minus the area of the triangle here. Let me erase. Minus 18 x cubed minus 36x squared plus 27x. Okay. Again, we think of the negative here. This is really important to put the brackets and think of the negative as a negative 1. Don't forget to do this step. So we get 63x cubed minus 36x squared plus 45x minus 18x cubed plus 36x squared minus 27x, and we combine our like terms. So 63x cubed minus 18x cubed, let me use a calculator. 63 minus 18, so we get 45x cubed. Negative 36x squared plus 36x squared, they cancel, same number, opposite sign. And then lastly we have positive 45x minus 27x. So 45 minus 27, yeah, 18x. And this is units squared because it's area. And this is our final answer. Guys, great work, and I'll see you in the next example. Okay, so in this next example, we have Grace selling perfume bottles. So this is what the perfume bottle looks like. If you want, pause the video on the actual question and write all the important bits of information down. So we're trying to find the area of the shaded region, basically on the perfume bottle around the label. We don't want to include the label. So the information that's given is that the area of the label is 24x squared plus 32x. Everything's in centimeters. Since we're talking about the area, the units here are centimeters squared, and they tell us that the length of the label, the left side, corresponds to the GCF of the label. So let's go ahead and find that. So remember, the game plan here is similar to the ones we saw previously, where you have to find the total area of the shape and subtract it by the area of the label, and that's going to leave us with the area of the shaded region. Okay. So we already have the area of the label, which is great information, but we need to go find the total area. That's our goal. So let's start off with the GCF. So to find the GCF of the label, let's go ahead and right away do it from here. The biggest number that divides 24 and 32 is 16 doesn't work, 12 doesn't work. It would be, in this case, 8x. So if we divide by 8x, we get 3x plus 4. So that means the 8x corresponds to the GCF. So the height of the label, let me erase it here, is, let's write it down, is 8x. And further, the information that's left over, 3x plus 4, corresponds to the length. We're using this argument again. Because if 8x times 3x plus 4 is equal to the area, remember, our formula is length times width. So if 8x corresponds to the length of the rectangle, that means whatever's left over has to correspond to the width, because when you're multiplying these two things, that gives us area. Okay, and area is equal to length times width. That means 3x plus 4 has to be the width. Okay, with that vital piece of information, this opens up the problem to us now, because now we could find the entire distance of the entire, let's say, base of the big rectangle. And further, we could also find the entire height or the length of the large rectangle as well. So if we add up all our horizontal distances, let me erase the label. Let me erase this. So here, to find the total length, we do 4 plus 3x plus 4 plus 4. And that gives us 3x plus 12. That's the entire distance here of the big rectangle. And further, to find the entire height, we know it's 8x. We're adding up our vertical distances. This distance plus this distance. And notice that that gives us the total height. So we have 8x plus 2x plus 7. And that gives us 10x plus 7 for the entire height. Everything's in centimeters. And 3x plus 12 is also in centimeters. So now to find the area of the big rectangle, it's equal to length times width, and we found the length and the width. So it's going to be 10x plus 7 times 3x plus 12. Another side note I just want to mention, if you call this the length and this the width, or if you reverse them, it doesn't matter, because you can kind of tilt your head and then the shape changes. So whatever you refer to as the length or the width, it doesn't change in this problem. So here, if you're multiplying 3x plus 12 times 10x plus 7, you're going to get the same answer, so don't worry too much about that. So here we have to FOIL. So 10x times 3x is 30x squared. 10x times 12 is 120x. 7 times 3x is 21x. and 7 times 12 is 84. Combine like terms, we get 30x squared plus 141x plus 84 centimeters squared. This corresponds to the total area of the perfume bottle, ignoring the top. And now to find the area of the shaded, we just subtract our answer here from the area of the label. So make sure you don't subtract the wrong way, because if you do area of the label minus the area of the big, that doesn't make sense. Because to find the shaded region, you have to do the big shape minus the small shape, and then you're left with the shaded. If you do small minus big, you're going to get basically the same answer, but negative, and that would be incorrect. So area of the shaded equals area big minus area small, which in this case is the label. And the area of big, we got 30x squared. Let's keep this in brackets, plus 141x plus 84 minus the area of the label, 24x squared plus 32x. Distribute the negative. 30x squared plus 141x plus 84 minus 24x squared minus 32x. Last step, as always, combine like terms. So we do 30x squared minus 24x squared. We're left with 6x squared plus 141x minus 32. We're left with 109x. And then lastly, we have 84. And now at the end, ensure that you have the units written down. In this case, it's area, so it's centimeters squared. And this is the algebraic expression that represents the area of the shaded region. Great work, guys. Keep it up, and I'll see you in the next video.